beautiful people! Welcome to the next episode in my YouTube channel. Today I feel very inspired with my recent travel to Turkey. I would like to share with you all of the insights about the surprising and shocking things that I realized when I was there. If you're interested, if you're curious, then stay here with me today and I will share with you everything that surprised me when I was in Turkey recently. I was in the city called ESKISEHIR, and that is the city located in the northwestern part of Turkey. The population of the city is a bit less than 900,000 of people. The city is located more or less half away from Istanbul and Ankara. So there is actually a very nice train connection that takes approximately 3 hours to get from Istanbul to ESKISEHIR. It's the city considered as the student town. It's very European, a lot of cafes, a lot of places, restaurants. They are designed in a way that you would see in most of the European capitals. So the thing number one. This is something that I actually couldn't stand when I was there, and that is smoking indoors. Actually, according to the law, smoking indoors and in most of the public spaces has been prohibited. So it shouldn't be the case. There are, however, few exceptions that state that in the ventilated spaces, smoking inside is permitted. However, when everyone smokes inside the nightclub or in the bar, everyone is smoking, it's getting hot, and the smoke is burning, it's burning your eyes, and the smell stays with you for the next week. So that was actually something that bothered me a lot. It really affects how you feel, it really affects your perception of the whole night. So this is something that is super horrible and that I really believe that should be prohibited in all of the places with no exceptions. No smoking indoors. Aspect number two. So this is something that in the world, in the current world nowadays, is extremely surprising. The abusive use of plastic in Turkey. It's incredible. You get plastic with everything and to everything. So when we went to the restaurant, we received our cutlery in the plastic boxes. When you go to the restaurant, of course you receive the plastic straw. When you are in the supermarket, there is plastic everywhere. You get your food served in the plastic. Even though there are certain measures implemented in Turkey to reduce the use of plastic, like for example the small fee for the plastic bags in the supermarket. The government is actually supposed to implement some free deposit container schemes, so there are things happening. However, Turkey is still ranked among the top 20 countries in the world with the largest masses of mismanagement of plastic waste. So this is still a very big issue in Turkey. And actually, according to the data that I found, out of 3.7 tons waste of plastic, there is only, and now let me check it, 6% that is recycled. Of what is remained, 61% goes to the landfill, and another remaining 33%, which is more than 1 million ton, remains uncollected or is openly dumped. And that is a huge issue that you can actually see on the streets in Turkey. The aspect number three. When I was in Turkey now, by the end of June, they actually celebrated the holiday that was called Kurban Bayrami. And Bayram in Turkish actually means the holiday, the festivity. So there are two the most important ones celebrated by Muslim people, and one of them is the Ramadan or after Ramadan, and another one is the Kurban Bayram that is celebrated according to the Georgians calendar, and the dates differ. This year it started on 26th of June and it lasted for 4 days. So what is it about? Kurban Bayram is the festival of sacrifice. This is to commemorate the Prophet Ibrahim's will to sacrifice his son to God. And during that holiday, people are sacrificing their animals, sheep or cows, and they use their meat to distribute it to people who don't have enough, to keep it in the family, to celebrate. Of course, the holiday is not celebrated only in Turkey. As I mentioned, it is a Muslim holiday, so it's celebrated by Muslim people all around the world. From what we understood when we were there, the weight, the importance of this holiday is compared to the European Christmas. So it is actually something very big when all the families gather together, they spend the time together, free from school, from work, and they just visit each other in different places. So during these days, all of the important governmental institutions and places owned by the government were closed. And on top of that, of course, all of the restaurants, clubs, pubs, everything else was open for people to go out and celebrate the time together. Now we are moving to the more interesting part, which is the food. So something that stole my heart in Turkey is chick kofte. I really hope I pronounce it well. Basically, chick means raw and kofte means meatball. So originally that means raw meatballs. The legend says that the food originated in the city called Urfa 4,000 years ago. There was a woman who actually combined the ingredients that are used to make it. And that was the raw venison, a bulgur, tomato sauce, herbs and spices. So originally the dish was actually made with meat, as the name indicates. Of course, I didn't try it with meat because it's not so common anymore. The most common version nowadays in Turkey is actually the one with bulgur only. What gives it its special flavor and spice is actually the dark maroon colored, like a smoky spiced paprika that gives it its kick. And I have to admit, this is one of my favorite dishes in Turkey. So you actually eat it with the leaf of salad. You put a little bit of lemon on top of it and you serve it with the pomegranate sauce. And it's very interesting because now, according to the EU regulations for the safety of the food being sold on the street, serving the raw meat is not allowed anymore. So that's why the dish became fully vegan. So if you're vegan and you're traveling to Turkey and you're afraid that you won't find anything for yourself, then please don't. The chick kofte comes to your salvation. Number 5. So this is something very positive for all of the tourists traveling to Turkey, however, absolutely not good for Turkish citizens, people who live in Turkey, and that is the devaluation of the currency. So the situation is actually very urgent and very critical, I would say. When we were there, the Turkish Lira devaluated from, I think it was 25 or 26 Turkish Lira that were representing €1. By the end of our stay, it was 28 Turkish liras to €1. So this is actually a very quick devaluation, drop of the currency. And now, why is that actually happening? And maybe just for a small comparison, I will add that from 2018, when $1 was equal to 4.5 Turkish liras, nowadays it's equal to 23 Turkish liras. And that means that the increase, actually the decline of the Turkish lira was by 80% in 5 years. So this is something very, very scary for the country's economy. And there are certain experts saying that, well, the devaluation of the lira is actually a predictable result of the suppressed inflation just before the election that happened in Turkey not so long ago. Apparently, the government and certain experts, they made calculations that the lira is going to continue to devaluate. So this is something that, well, as a tourist, you can absolutely notice in Turkey, because when you go out, the prices for anything are very, very low. The next sixth aspect that I would like to talk about is the Turkish hospitality. And that doesn't stop to surprise me. Well, I visited Turkey before, previously, and the same happened to me, that every time I'm there, the hospitality of people, their kindness and their desire to give you everything, to treat you as someone that was sent by their God is incredible. So actually there was a very interesting story that happened to us.
This,
Yes.
the proof.
So here there is only the leftovers of what happened to us. Basically, we're walking to the bus stop.
At the tram stop,
Yeah, at the tram stop. We're standing around and we talk in English, obviously. And then there's this man sitting on this bench right here, and he asks us, "Where are you from, guys?" In English, of course. So then we start the conversation. He tells us about his brother living in France, having a French wife, and then he asks a question. Okay, so now knowing that your brother lives in France, what do you prefer, Börek or croissant?
Which is better?
Which is better, Börek or croissant? Okay, guys, who continues the story?
And basically, he opens like his bag and there's like how many of you? Five burek, so one for each.
Burek, okay?
Yeah, two burek. That one.
That's it.
And like he gives them to us, like one for each. And also he gives us like the iron stuff, you know, the drink. And yeah, it was so amazing. And
Like, take my food. I'm going to my brother. I will have food. No, you take my food. You take my food. You take my. I don't want my food.
Iron.
And there is iron. You drink iron. Like, we can take half. You will keep half. No. All my food. Take all my food. I'm happy. You take all my food. We love Turkey. Turkish people are so good. Oh my God.
So this is something that doesn't stop to surprise me when I travel to Turkey, and for that I am very, very impressed. And the last part that I will talk about is something that confused me quite a lot, and that is being vegetarian in Turkey. Actually, after being there twice, I still don't know if it's easy or difficult. I mean, being vegetarian in Turkey during this time was extremely easy. We had our meals provided, so it was super nice to receive some falafel wraps, some vegan wraps with the meat made of soya chunks. We had kofte, we had doma, which are the grape leaves filled with rice. There was actually a lot of very nice foods, but the problem is the word, I think. So there's one day when we were supposed to eat out, and we went in search of the restaurant. So there were actually many places that we were entering, and there was absolutely not a single vegetarian option. And I'm not even talking vegan, I'm talking vegetarian. There was absolutely nothing. And then other places that we visited, they were saying that, well, there is nothing except of a salad. Well, that doesn't sound very encouraging, especially when you're hungry and you don't really know what's inside the salad. You definitely don't want to receive a cucumber and tomato salad. So we were quite skeptical, considering the language barrier as well. So luckily there were some tourists in the restaurant, local people who spoke English. So they helped us to communicate with the waiters, and what they told us is that, well, there's a salad and there is this national pasta with potatoes, it's like ravioli, you can stay for that. Okay, so this is something that we did. We stayed in this place, but we didn't really hope for anything great. And oh my god, what we received was something way beyond our expectations. There was this amazing feast of food that we got. There were drinks, there was ayran, there was this amazing juice, there was tzatziki, there was some hummus, there was pita, there was bread, there were some tomatoes, there was an amazing salad with bulgur and pear and rucola. There was some, there was this huge plate of ravioli, potato ravioli. So we were actually so satisfied with this meal that it was crazy. So now, based on this experience, I really think that this is the word vegetarian that causes a lot of confusion amongst Turkish people, and not actually the meals that they serve, because I really believe, and from what I lived in Turkey, vegetarian meals are very, very common. It's just the fact that the word is quite confusing. Okay, so that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you actually learned something, or that you were surprised in the same way I was surprised when I was in Turkey. If you enjoyed, then please do like the video, please do subscribe it as well. That is really helping the channel to grow. As I mentioned already a few times, this is my little baby that I really want to get better, help me to interact with this channel so it gets spread around. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you here next week. Bye!